I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm alright. It's a little back pain. Uh, let's see what came in the bag. No, it's food. Yeah, it's kind of food. Hot, good food. Nice and steamy. French fries and chicken wings. Mmm, 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 mmm. Whew, very hot. Mm. Where I got them from? I got them from a deli. Hi, Bo and Rob. Hi, Bo and J Man. I love chicken. Chicken wings are the best. I like them plain too. I'm doing good. Besides my back pain, I'm doing great. Better than yesterday. Mm-mm-mm. It's freaking cold out there. It's freezing. Don't forget, like and subscribe. And they're nice and crispy too. The chicken wings, you see? The crisp. Mm. I like when the crisp comes out. It makes it taste so good. Mm-mm-mm. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's not a dot. Yeah. Ooh, hot. Mm. Back when I used to like barbecue, but my stomach doesn't like it. Because it has acid. Oh, that was good. My allergies are acting up too. See when that shit happens. French fries is nice and crispy, nice and brown. Ooh. I like the crisp. My back hurts. Oh. At the deli. I try not to order a lot. No, not really. I do eat in sometimes. I like to cook more often, but I'm gonna get an air fryer soon. Look, a little fry. Whew. Thank God tomorrow's Friday. It's supposed to be cold. If it's cold, I'm not going out. My back hurts. I've been on it lately. In my stomach. I gotta eat. Let me see what's going on the life of YouTube. Ooh, fucking sweating. Ooh. Come on, computer, hurry up. Start. Finally. About to smoke some more weed because I'm a little nauseous, but So what? We get high. So what? We smoke weed. We're just having fun. How long is it takes the average person to eat? Me, it takes about an hour. Take a while to eat because of my weight loss surgery. You gotta take your time because you don't want to vomit. Having allergies is the worst. I've been having it the last couple of days. More often, I don't know why, but yep. Let's see what's going on. Let's go to YouTube. Nope. Let's see what's going on. See what's going on in Florida. Not Florida, in the. Oh, look what Trump. TikTok ban.
Correspondent Savannah Sellers. Savannah, thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate it. What is notable, this seems to be a real reversal for both President Biden and President-elect Trump on their one-time support for a TikTok ban. What are your takeaways as we await to see what happens?
Hi, Krista. Thanks so much for having me. That is exactly right. So the President-elect, I should say, Trump one, we've been hearing a little bit more about, right? He's gotten very comfortable saying he wants to save TikTok. He has a warm spot in his heart for it.
Save TikTok!
This is a significant reversal for the Biden administration. Keep in mind, of course, President Biden is the one who signed this into law. They're now looking for ways to delay what should have been an inevitable with their law, depending on how the Supreme Court rules here. It is a big shock. And here's what's so notable. The reason that this had overwhelming bipartisan support is because of what national security officials said was a serious national security concern because of TikTok's parent company, it's called ByteDance, their ties to China, and essentially saying that China could potentially steal American users' data, or maybe more concerningly, manipulate the content shown to Americans within the app. None of that has changed, Kristen, but what has happened, what has materialized over the last couple of days is millions of TikTok users expressing their discontent with the fact that this app may soon be unavailable to them.
No.
Well, you know, Savannah, I guess the question becomes what can actually be done at this point? I mean, if the ban goes into effect on Sunday, what, if anything, can the outgoing President Biden do?
Absolutely. So, Kristen, we're actually breaking news literally right now as I'm on the air with you about exactly what they do plan to do, and I'll explain how they can do it. We are just now reporting that the Biden administration does plan to punt implementation to the Trump administration, and that the way that they are going to do so is that they are not going to collect on the fines that is the punishment described in this law. So that is breaking right now as we speak. Let me explain that. The penalty in this law, what effectively is the whole underpinning of this, is that the service providers, so that is someone like Apple, a company like Apple, who is offering TikTok in its app store. That's a company like Oracle, the data hosting server for TikTok. In this law, those companies are fined $5,000 per user, 170 million users. It totals to about $850 billion in fines. That's the whole underpinning of this here. The Biden administration is just now telling us they will not collect on those fines. That means Sunday effectively no longer matters as a deadline. And I think it also kind of renders what the Supreme Court will decide not as important anymore if the Biden administration is committing to doing that. That then means the next day we get into a Trump presidency. Trump has said that he has plans to immediately intervene. There are several different options that he has at his disposal. Could he somehow organize some type of sale that then he, as the president, has the discretion to say, yep, that's a qualified divestiture, I'm good with that? Could he tell his attorney general to essentially do the same thing that the Biden administration is telling NBC News that they are doing, which is, hey, don't enforce that, don't collect on those fines? It'll be a really interesting question, though, Kristen, to then see how the tech companies handle this. If you're the general counsel at an Apple or an Oracle, do you tell your company, yep, I think we're safe here, that's enough protection, or could we still see those apps have lingering concerns?
Wow, Savannah, incredible work breaking that here. We really appreciate it. Thank you
Lots
so
of colleagues
much.
involved. Yes,
Yep.
Amanda Circle, John
But let's
Allen,
see what
and
the Supreme
everybody in
Court does
NBC
tomorrow.
As well. But yes, just coming off right now.
Good job to the entire team. Thank you for
They
bringing
can make
it
a
to
call
us. We really
tomorrow.
appreciate it. Savannah just underscores how dynamic this story is. And
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and
Oh. Let's see. CNN has to say something about it.
Overnight in the future of TikTok. Remember, a ban is set to take effect Sunday as part of a bipartisan law passed by Congress, signed by President Biden, over concerns of Chinese influence over the app. So the ban is Sunday, but the New York Times is reporting that TikTok CEO has been invited to Donald Trump's inauguration on Monday. Add to that, CNN has learned that the president-elect Trump is looking into possible stopgap measures to keep TikTok from shutting down. All right, CNN's Claire Duffy is here. So much uncertainty.
Yeah, I mean, I
She's
think
cute.
that's really the bottom line here is we're 3 days away from this ban, and we still don't know what's going to happen here, if it's really going away or not. We still don't know how the Supreme Court is going to rule. We're now hearing that Donald Trump is trying to take some action potentially to delay the ban going into effect, although, as you said, it's set to go into effect the day before the inauguration. And what that means really for users of this platform is they are feeling a lot of this uncertainty. If you are a creator who makes a livelihood on this app, or even a user who spends hours a day, as many people do, scrolling on this platform, those folks are already seeking out alternatives. And we're seeing some of those alternatives surge in popularity this week. The biggest one is a platform called Redno, which is actually a Chinese app. It looks a lot like TikTok. And what's really interesting is we're seeing a lot of American TikTok users flocking to this app and Chinese users welcoming them, offering Mandarin lessons, offering them information about how to use the platform. I pulled up a good example of this to show you.
Sorry.
Dear TikTok refugees, welcome to Xiaohongshu. I know you probably don't understand Chinese, but there are 5 tips to help you make the most of this app. First, it's all about lifestyle. You can always find a better way to live and most comprehensive guide to everything.
It's kind of a hilarious cultural exchange that's happening, and many American users are there expressing frustration about the U.S. government and essentially saying, if you're going to take away our TikTok, we're going to go find another Chinese platform that we can use. So that's been a really interesting dynamic that we're seeing. Another app that's really gained popularity is Lemon8, which is owned by TikTok parent company ByteDance. The company started pushing it in the U.S. when talks of a ban really started bubbling up. And that's another platform that's really gaining. Those two platforms could still face the same sort of ban that TikTok is facing under this law. And experts told me that sort of gets at the challenge, this whack-a-mole challenge that the U.S. government has in trying to avoid Chinese influence over popular social platforms.
Well, those would certainly be twists, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Again, if the CEO of TikTok is really coming to the inauguration on Monday, it's hard to imagine Donald Trump doesn't want to find a way to save it or won't do something. Claire Duffy, thank you very much for that.
In just 3 days, the U.S. ban of TikTok is set to take effect, impacting 170 million users here in the United States. And sources tell CNN that the president-elect, Donald Trump, is now looking at, debating, considering, looking at the options to push that off, at least for a time. and keep the platform up and running while they look for and try to find a U.S. buyer. CNN's Harry Anton is running the numbers, not on the chances that Donald Trump will do it,
I have no idea.
but on just how big of a force TikTok really has become in this country.
Oh.
So how popular is TikTok?
Yeah, the idea that I can get into Donald Trump's head and know what he was doing on any particular moment, to me, is just something that is out of my wheelhouse.
Moving on.
Moving on. Age 13 to 17, basically teenagers. I don't know if you have any teenage members of your family, Kate Baldwin, but if you ever look at their phone, they seem to be addicted to it, and they're scrolling through. What are they scrolling through? They're scrolling through TikTok. I mean, my goodness gracious, 2/3 of teenagers use TikTok. It is more popular than Instagram, more popular than Snapchat. Facebook's for old fuddy-duddies like myself. Just 32% of teenagers use Facebook, and Twitter X, which is my favorite platform, to be honest, just 17%. And it's not just that they love TikTok. Teenagers are addicted to TikTok. TikTok's got a hold of them. 50% of teenagers use TikTok several times a day.
Yep.
So if TikTok went adios amigos, this would have a major impact on the daily lives of teenagers and even your life.
So this is 13 to 17-year-olds. How about everyone else?
Yeah, how about everyone else? So, you know, I myself have a TikTok account, but I don't really quite understand.
Ooh,
it. I
not
guess
good.
I'm becoming an old fuddy-duddy. Adults who use TikTok, but even here, it's been a massive rise. So you go back to 2019, you can see it was just 3%. Now look at this. It's up to 32%. That's up nearly 30 points in just a 5-year span. Yes, Facebook is a little bit more. Yes, Facebook is number one, Instagram being number 2. But it's really the rise of TikTok. It's really younger folks. Again, those under the age of 30 who use TikTok. There's a reason why Trump went and campaigned with those influencers. It's because to get younger voters, to get younger folks on social media. You don't go to Facebook. You go to TikTok, and the bottom line is TikTok has become a massive force in this country, and only one that has become considerably more popular as time has gone on.
Okay, so if it is so popular
Yes.
and it goes away,
Yes.
where do people go?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, as I said, TikTok has a massive hold on teenagers. TikTok has an increasingly strong hold on adults. But that doesn't mean that people who use TikTok only use TikTok. So who TikTok users, where else could they potentially go? TikTok users who also use, look, they're going to get their fix somewhere else, because take a look at this. 74% of TikTok users also use Instagram.
Damn, 95% use YouTube.
In case you're wondering. Or you can go over to YouTube. Think YouTube Shorts. 95% of TikTok users also use YouTube. So look, they'll get their fix somewhere else, but it will still be a massive disruption in their lives, especially younger folks.
Let me ask you both about something else that has been a bipartisan issue here in Washington, which is TikTok, which Congress voted overwhelmingly in bipartisan fashion to ban the app. It's set to go into effect on Sunday. Congressman, we're hearing some reports that President Trump may be thinking about an executive order that would delay the sale. There is a provision of the law that allows that for 90 days. Do you think he should do that?
Well, I think first of all, let's look at the House led on this, passed it, the Senate approved it, and the President signed into law. The Supreme Court's upheld it. Now, this isn't a ban
The
of,
court may still weigh in, but yes.
yeah, with TikTok on
We
this.
expect it.
Yeah, exactly right. The TikTok on this is an app, and ByteDance, the parent company, is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Chinese. And we have seen for the last 6 months, Chinese through Bolt Typhoon, Silk Typhoon, Salt Typhoon, coming in and pillaging the United States. So we know the Chinese are doing right to do this. I think that it's right from a national security side to divest from China being able to have its largest propaganda source right here in the United States. President Trump coming in, we've got a lot of deadlines coming up in the Senate, Casey, and I think it's important that we're clear with the American people. There's a new top cop in town, and he's going to have a lot of influence here and getting the Chinese to divest. In the same tone, TikTok, the app, has an opportunity here to become an American company, and I think that ultimately their CEO may be joining the inauguration this week to have those direct conversations with leaders right here in Washington.
Congressman Lansman, do you see any upside to delaying this for 90 days? Should President Biden consider doing that before he leaves office? Should Donald Trump use this executive order if he doesn't?
I don't know. I mean, quite frankly, Zach's right. The point is keep the app and get the company to disinvest from China. They just got to get out of China, because at the moment, because it is a Chinese-based company, China, who is a foreign adversary, they are at any time in a position to weaponize all of our data. And we're putting Americans at risk and our national security at risk. And so, you know, if they can get this thing sold, that would be the best of both worlds. But, you know, whether there's a delay or not, you know, what we passed was the right decision.
Good last word, Frankie?
I think this is a bold world. Look, if China wants to continue to play in this area and refuses to allow it to sell, I feel highly confident that there'll be another app that will immediately spring up in this place. We just talked about our kids. This is the generation where brand loyalty is not there. They're going to go to something
I
that
asked
they need.
my kid before the vote, I said, hey, I'm going to vote on this. You know, curious, do you care?
Yeah.
Focus group of 2. Answer was like, no, they're both in their phones in the back of the car. And I was like, why? And they're like, something else will come up.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
All right. Well, it's nice to have some bipartisan breaking out on the set on all of the issues we had talked about today.
That's an
It
agreement.
seems.
Yeah.
Oh. People are fucking crazy. Let's see what happened in California. Still? Good all those fires. But look right here, Local 27.
As a black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help.
Why this commercial? That's strange. No, it's just
Well, it's safe to say Mayor Adams is in for a roller coaster year.
The mayor says he is running for re-election while awaiting a federal corruption trial. But there's another familiar name to New Yorkers who's making noise in the race for mayor, and he hasn't even announced that he's running. News 4's Melissa Russo is live in the newsroom with the details for us. Melissa?
Gilma and Adam, that would be former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who built big infrastructure projects during his time in office, as well as a national following with his daily pandemic briefings. That is, before he resigned in 2021 to avoid impeachment in Albany. Mayor Eric Adams today said he does not feel threatened by Cuomo.
It's amazing I'm still in it with the number of things I had to go through.
Insisting he's still in it to win it, Mayor Eric Adams says he's not worried about some polls that suggest former Governor Andrew Cuomo, if he decides to run, would enter the mayor's race in first place with a sizable lead.
Nope.
Adams entered his news conference Monday prepared for the question.
So I want to show you something.
The mayor held up a headline from the mayor's race 4 years ago when polls suggested he would lose to his then rival, Andrew Yang.
So in February, Andrew was kicking my rear. And you know what? We don't say Mayor Yang. We say Mayor Adams.
The Adams administration has failed to...
City Controller Brad Lander, who, unlike Cuomo, is definitively in the race for mayor, criticized both Adams and Cuomo's records today on the subject of street homelessness and mental illness.
Well, if you look in the report, you'll see it was in the Cuomo administration that substantial cuts to Medicaid eviscerated our mental health system.
Many New Yorkers agree they want a change in City Hall, but some say they do not prefer Cuomo.
I don't know. Maybe we could get back some of the other mayors.
Like Bloomberg?
Yes.
De Blasio?
No, thank you.
Rudy Giuliani, maybe?
No.
Just Bloomberg.
Yeah.
For sure, I can say we need a change.
No,
A
we don't.
major change.
And that first voter that we heard from, Christina, says she does not trust Cuomo, specifically because of how he handled nursing home policies during the pandemic. Former Governor Cuomo has said almost nothing publicly about his future considerations in the mayor's race, but he has been plotting a political comeback for years. But he's going to have to decide soon about the mayor's race as he's facing a filing deadline coming up soon in February.
Oh, I didn't know there was a foul time.
visit to New York City is not complete without a slice of pizza.
New York-style pizza is just magic.
And for years, tourists and New Yorkers alike have been lining up for two of the city's famed pizza spots near the base of the legendary Brooklyn Bridge.
We're about an hour and a half from New York, so we decided to come get some pizza for the week.
But the competition on this block just got hotter than a pizza oven.
We're really considering this area like a new pizza mecca of New York. You know, a pizza row.
The iconic L&B Spumoni Gardens, operating since 1939 and famous for their square upside-down pie, recently opening up a second outpost. But the choice of this location could be seen by some as throwing down a gauntlet.
Is there a pizza war going on here?
Oh, absolutely not. It's a friendly one, if anything.
L&B Spumoni Gardens picked prime real estate for this location. It's in the heart of the Dumbo neighborhood in Brooklyn, which is a big draw for tourists. But right across the street are two other famous pizza restaurants that have been here for years.
Oh boy.
Grimaldi's Pizzeria and Giuliana's are the strongholds on this side of the street, but their newest competitor is armed with enough ovens to feed an army.
We have an arsenal of ovens to give us anything from, again, 500 and above pies a day.
Grimaldi's Pizzeria, here since the early 90s, not intimidated by the newcomer.
Our oven is the most important thing that makes it different than everyone else. So our pizza is still ours, their pizza is theirs, and people can choose.
And even embracing the potential for more business.
Maybe it'll draw more people over here into the area. And maybe people want to go and taste all three of the pizzerias and do a taste test.
Giuliana's also welcoming the challenger.
It's absolutely a friendly competition. It is not a pizza war. There could be more people into the neighborhood. And now this is even more of a pizza mecca than it was just a week ago. That's what we were hoping. That's what we expect.
Customers at all three just hungry for a taste of New York.
When someone loves pizza, I mean, I think you just got to try them all and see what you like the most.
Grimaldi's is delicious, so love a little friendly rivalry.
I think it's a competition, but it's fun. It's just about like who can innovate and make the best pizza, and you can just play off of each other. And if one place is too busy, you can go somewhere else. And I don't know, it just adds to the magic of the city.
Just don't try to take a knife and fork into this battle.
Hands or knife and fork?
In New York, we use hands.
Okay.
Valerie Castro.
You better use your hand. Knife
Thanks for
or
watching. Stay
fork,
updated
hell
on
no.
Breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or
I hope everybody's doing great. That's something else. Snoop Dogg rap. Oh, that's old. But back. What the fuck? What's free? Nothing's free. Oh, look.
I want to talk to you about red dye number 3 and them just banning it. Now, let me tell you why I'm so excited, okay? I believe from my own personal research and dealing with experts now for years, the stuff they're putting on in our food makes us sick. There is a reason that when you travel to other countries, everybody has the same experience. Oh, I ate and I drank and I came back and I lost weight. Because there's crap in our foods that they don't allow in foods in other places. Red dye number 3 is one of them. Red dye number 40 is, let's say, as controversial. And I wish they had done more than what they just did, but I'll take it because they waited too long to do this. Now, what is it? This red dye is the stuff that you see in sweets. That's what it's here. It's got some other long name, but it's known as red dye number 3. and they just banned it. But I'm telling you, they took it out of cosmetics within the industry years ago because they were worried about it. But they left it in our food? So the FDA did this today, okay? Finally decided to ban this red dye number 3. Why did they do it? Why is this good? That's easy to answer. And why didn't they do more? What's stopping it? Dr. William Lee, okay? One of my medical team, medical director of angiogenesis and the author of Eat to Beat Disease. Dr. Lee, good to see you. Red dye number 3, right to ban it. Why, and why not 40?
Well, this has been a ban that's a long time in coming because, as you pointed out, the data of the harm of this drug, this food coloring that could actually cause thyroid cancer in animals violated a law called the Delaney Clause that the FDA was supposed to follow 35 years ago. And the data actually emerged in 1988 and was published by a group in Japan, subsequently repeated and confirmed. So it was banned in cosmetics in 1990. And we've been waiting, we and other, myself and other people that have really been championing that our food should be safer, finally have a reason to celebrate this one needed small step forward.
But why is it so hard? Well, if other countries are doing it, if you have this research all the time, and I get it, that, just because it's in animals doesn't mean it would be in humans, but what happened to the do no harm thing? And why is the government so slow to push up on these? Is it because of the agribusiness lobbying? Is it because of the need of abundance in this country? I mean, what is it that keeps stuff that, even if it's questionable, why would you have it in the food?
Well, listen, I'm a scientist and I do cancer research, and I can tell you that many of the innovations that we experienced in the 1950s and 60s and 70s that were amazing at the time, science is now beginning to tell us, in this case a long time ago, but even more recent research is telling us that the things that we thought were okay before are not so okay now. And so I think what's happening is that the zeitgeist of our nation is now saying we need our country to protect our interests. So finally, this move actually shows us that the FDA cares.
Well, I don't know that they care, because I think that they'd be doing more. Yes, they did something. And again, it's a little weird that they do it right at the end of the term like this. How concerned are you about what is still in America's foods that is not or are not in other countries' foods?
Well, I'm hoping that this is going to be a precedent, a first step to show that there's accountability by the FDA and other regulators to be able to look at what's in our food, be transparent about the research that's been done, and to listen to the American people on what they're going to allow or not allow. There are laws in place to be able to do this. In fact, we need to be more progressive about this. And I think that one of the things that everyone is looking forward to are changes in our regulation to be able to highlight the good things in food and highlight the bad things in food. This is about transparency, and it's about actually letting people know what's going on. I can tell you for red dye number 3, if anybody wants to look at where this actually lives, go to the Environmental Working Group, their database. You can actually search red dye number 3 and look at the 3,000 foods that it appears in. And by the way, the ban that was announced today gives the food industry until January 2027, so 2 years to get it off the shelves. So I think that the consumers to be able to look at the ingredient labels is what I always tell everybody. Don't be afraid of red food. There's natural red food coloring, and beetroot and others that actually are perfectly fine. They're using the red. If you actually think of something that looks red, don't worry about it, but do check the ingredient labels to see if there is red dye or any other numbered food coloring that might actually raise your suspicion.
The next one's got to be high fructose corn syrup. That is the one. If I could get one thing out of food that I know would help us with type 2 diabetes, with our obesity issues, so many of the problems that would be it. And I know that because I read Dr. Lee's book. Anyway, Dr. William Lee, thank you very much for joining me as always. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News
Right,
Nation
amazing
on
website.
your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.
Yeah. Whew. I'll be back, guys, later. Bye.